All right, guys, it's time for the New York Jets Play Like a Jet Zone postgame show, brought to you by, again, our great friends, a local sponsor here in Oswego, New York. If you miss Green's Oswego award-winning wings, then this is the place and time to do it, and it is time to get some of that action with those wings and those wing specials. I talked about it a little bit earlier, but real quick before we get into this Jets postgame, I do want to give a shout out to a very special sponsor, again, Green's Oswego's award-winning chicken wings, and you can get their amazing chicken wing sauce for a limited time. They are back. Text 315-406-8081. Again, text 315-406-8081 for all the details. Again, they got some great wing sauce flavors like Louisiana Lightning, garlic Parmesan bee sting, and El Diablo. My personal favorite is the garlic Parmesan. Again, one more time, text 315-406-8081. They have great products. Again, they come in nice 16-ounce containers, those wing sauce options I gave you for only $10. So hopefully you guys can support a sponsor in joining that. All right, it's time for the postgame show, and boy, was that depressing. Let's go through some of the notes and quotes from the game here in a disappointing loss, season-opening loss for the New York Jets. Now, this game had a big chance to be pretty ironic, actually. Remember last year, the Jets got off to such a huge lead to start the game 16-0, and then everything fell apart. Obviously, Corey Vedvik played in that. C.J. Mosley played a factor in that. And then ultimately, the Bills came back and won that football game. This year, same kind of thing. Bills had overall, there seemed to be, and then the Bills' slow start in the third quarter, it seemed like we were possibly progressing to a Jets comeback. For anyone new that's joining in the stream, we do a weekly pre- and post-game show right here on Play Like a Jet Zone. This is the Play Like a Jet Zone studios. Please subscribe and join this new family. We'd really love to have you in here and on here. We'll be doing this every week, so make sure you tune in. Again, right here on Play Like a Jet Zone. But quite frankly, I'm pissed off. I am pissed off. Adam Gase looked like trash. And quite frankly, if we're being blunt, if we're being honest, Sam Darnold looked like trash. He was not good. Sloppy footwork, couldn't get throws on, the horrible interception to Milano, not sure what he was thinking. Again, I think too often Sam Darnold has tried to play hero ball, force a ball where it shouldn't be, try to make it happen if it's not happening. Obviously, there's horrible play calling from Adam Gase. Every second and long where he ran the ball was disturbing. It sucked. And, again, just horrendous play calling across the board. And it's weird because at the end of the first half, you saw Sam Darnold had the beautiful touch on the throw to Le'Veon Bell. They were able to make some things happen and move and groove. But then it ends with a sour taste in all of our mouths. At the end of that first half, by the way, and let's go to the notes and quotes here, I mean, just horrible clock management. Now, this Jet staff, and I'm going to berate them here in a second, isn't the only staff that has done this. Look over the last 10 years, whoever the Jets head coach has been has butchered some of that first half clock management and really have just destroyed things. So, you know, he's not the first, but it's annoying nonetheless. They had 17 seconds on the clock. They do a middle screen dump off. All the time runs out with no timeouts, and they clock it, and then they get 3 points when they were down 21-0. It doesn't make any sense for what they were trying to accomplish. Again, you either play not to lose or play to win the game, and I don't know what the hell Adam Gase is doing there. Horrible clock management at the end of the half. And really, there's a lot of missed opportunities in this game. 2 missed field goals. There was the 2 Josh Allen fumbles. And overall, all these opportunities to stay in the game. The Bills should have been up by much more. 24-0, 28-0, 35-0 even. And the Jets got fortunate with a couple of opportunities. And ultimately, they didn't capitalize on them. And the Buffalo Bills find a way to win this game and start their season 1-0. The offense was putrid. Defense, obviously, they didn't force a punt. And, it was just really lacking in a lot of areas. And overall, Jet fans are left with another sour taste in their mouths following a Week 1 game. Last year, same feeling. And then we found out about the mononucleosis about halfway through the next week, and things don't get easier for the Jets. Next up, Week 2, the San Francisco 49ers, the NFC champion San Francisco 49ers. So it's not going to get easier for the New York Jets. And, man, it was, to be honest, a completely underwhelming performance. Sure, you have the Jamison Crowder play. Give some credit to some of the blocking on the play, Chris Herndon or Brashad Perriman or any of these guys that helped in that blocking to kind of spring Jamison Crowder loose for that long touchdown. But besides that, it was a lot of negative, a lot of bad to take away from this contest. And we'll look at the stats here in just a second. A couple of nuggets here, quite frankly, and really it's the Sam Darnold takeaway. Now, obviously, he hasn't been helped by coaching. He hasn't been helped by surrounding players around him. But the big thing is Sam Darnold did not look good. He looked bad. And if Sam Darnold is bad, and we started the pregame show with this, again, you can recap that pregame show, but we started from it, and what did we say? We said if Sam Darnold's good, the Jets can be good. If he's bad, they have no chance. And you saw that in this ball game. Just too often missed throws. Now, Josh Allen obviously missed a lot of throws, but he hit a lot of throws too. I think that's important to note. Obviously, he missed that wide-open touchdown to John Brown, but there's other tight throws at the end of the game where he just fit it in a window where only his receiver could come down with it, and they did. So obviously erratic, obviously all over the place. But you saw that positive from Josh Allen. We just didn't see enough positive from Sam Darnold, quite frankly, to give this team a chance. And obviously you saw Pierre Desir get benched in the second half from some horrible cornerback play. I thought, speaking of cornerback play, I'd throw some positive in here mixed in with all the negative. Bless Austin, I thought, looked very solid for the New York Jets. Also, new guys jumping in the live stream. You can comment on the YouTube live chat app if you'd like to get involved in the show. Questions, comments, concerns, we'll address it here on the post-game show now with some players. Stock up. Mekhi Becton. I know he gave up that sack, but again, that could have been identified as a coverage sack, quite frankly. He looked pretty stout, and that's good news for the Jets. He is a building block for their future, a cornerstone, not only of the offensive line, but protecting Sam Darnold or whoever is playing quarterback for the New York Jets. So I thought Mekhi Becton, being a rookie, no preseason, reduced training camp, I thought he actually looked remarkable, quite frankly. And speaking of remarkable, Marcus Maye, multiple sacks, stripping Josh Allen with the fumble. I mean, he was just all over the field. And obviously, in this Greg Williams scheme, it was a hand-to-glove fit for Marcus Maye on this team. He looked great. Hell, he could have had the interception in the red zone. He dropped that one. So, again, Marcus Maye looked terrific today. Balled out and was absolutely amazing. Whether it was in the run or versus the pass. Really liked what I saw from Marcus Maye. And again, this is a guy who was questionable heading into the game. So there was some iffy whether or not he was ultimately going to play in this game. You know, when in your stock up you have a punter, Braden Mann, I thought looked solid, maybe even team MVP after game one, but you don't want to talk about that because he's a punter. The only reason he's on the field is because your offense is inadequate in some way or another, and that is putting it lightly for the New York Jets. So Braden Mann looked very good today. I mentioned Bless Austin, but as many players were up, there was just as many players down. When you look at stock down, I mentioned Sam Darnold, sloppy footwork, did not look good. Le'Veon Bell had his moment or moments, but they were more bad than good. He goes out late in the game with the hamstring injury in the second half, and quite frankly, the Jets weren't using him all that well before that anyway. Frank Gore barely got any run in this game, surprising to some of the media analysts like Rich Cimini, but again, the Jets didn't get to use Le'Veon Bell enough. Where was that end of the first half offense the rest of the game for the Jets? Again, the Bills have a very good defense. I'm not trying to trash on anybody here, but the New York Jets had opportunities in this game if they wanted it. Unfortunately, they didn't take it. And the Jets couldn't do anything offensively. And really, it was they couldn't do it when they got takeaways. They couldn't do it when they had normal field position. There were drops. There was missed throws from Darnold. It's going to be a long season if Darnold can't hit those passes again. Part of it is he's not used to working with these receivers because a lot of them came off the couch to come here and play for the New York Jets due to a rash of injuries in this one. But most Jet fans can't be feeling good after, this week one performance against the Buffalo Bills. So total bummer there, and overall just not great. I talked about the missed opportunities already, And a couple of things here. Again, that game had a chance to be ironic. It had a chance to flip the script. Unfortunately, it didn't. Let's take a look at some of the stats here as well. And we'll look at this Jets-Bills stat line. Again, final score 27-17 for this Jets-Bills game. And as you look at some of these stats, I mean, these are going to make you puke. Sam Darnold, 215 yards. He got sacked 3 times. So, again, still some of the offensive line issues there. Running the ball, 52 yards, man. 52 yards. 6 carries for Frank Gore, 6 carries for Le'Veon Bell. What did we talk about in the pregame? Ground and pound. Your Sam Darnold's connection between himself and the wide receivers is missing, and it's missing because of the fact of the matter that, quite frankly, they haven't got enough reps together. So what's going on here? So why not run the football? When they ran it, it was 2nd and long. So again, situational awareness, the game plan in general. I question what was going on here. Again, big L to none other than Adam Gase. Don't know what he was calling there from that perspective. And then the receiving game, Jamison Crowder kind of gets his stats padded, and he looks like he had a 100-yard game because he did, but it was the 69-yarder where he broke free. Outside of that, a lot of bleh. And Chris Herndon gets 6 catches to 37 yards. He had 7 targets, but he had the big fumble, obviously, and that was a big difference in the game as well. On the other side of the fence, obviously the Jets corners versus those Bills receivers, we talked about it. John Brown sliced through the Jets defense. Stephon Diggs, again, it wasn't more so the deep ball game. It was that short and intermediate stuff, and ate up the Jets all day long with those soft coverage. But Greg Williams, and he used it last year, using a lot of zone coverage to try to protect the quarters because, quite frankly, they're not good enough to play man-to-man across the board. So they have to use a lot of zone. They have to give up a lot of stuff, and they did it well. Again, Stephon Diggs, 8 catches, 86 yards. John Brown, 6 catches, 70 yards. Cole Beasley contributed another 4 catches for 50 yards as well. Ultimately, not very good. Again, you had McDougal at the fumble return also, Jordan Willis did as well. On the defensive side of the ball here, the final stats for Marcus Maye, he looked terrific. 10 tackles, 7 of those were solos, 2 sacks, 2 TFLs. Marcus Maye looked like the real deal, and that is a sign to be optimistic. That is a sign to be positive about if you're a New York Jets fan, that you have a baller on the back end, plus the draft picks that maybe we'll be talking about a little earlier than we would have wanted here in the 2020 season. Poole was very good as well, 9 tackles, 8 of those solo. He also had a sack and TFL in this one. But again, there was just so much bad that it's hard to look at what was certainly good. Ashton Davis obviously gets lit up at the end of the game on that return. Ashton Davis is a speedster. I thought he would have a bigger role. And the part that I noticed Ashton Davis was for a bad reason. When he was a gunner on the punt teams, he continued to kind of it's almost like we talk about it in punting when you kind of outkick your coverage. Well, that wasn't the punter's fault. It was the gunner going too gung-ho, and then he was missing those opportunities to try to kind of, shuffle down, break down, and get a nice profile tackle on Andre Roberts, the former New York Jets returner, and he was unable to do that on a consistent basis. We talked about the kicking game being a big one in this, and it certainly was. There was opportunities there for the Jets to take advantage of. Again, Tyler Bass missed his first 2 kicks, converted the latter 2. He was 50%. And he missed those opportunities. That would have been great. By the way, Braden Mann, 6 punts for 278 yards. So, again, and he had that 58-yarder, which was a beauty. But, again, I don't want to be coming on this post-game show, okay? I'm talking about the great punting that happened with the New York Jets. That can't make you feel good. And, again, a little bit tells you about the story of this ball game. And the next topic of conversation, I don't want to get – again, I claim to be an eternal optimist. I want to be optimistic. But if I'm being honest here, I think the next question we certainly have to ask is, well, how long does Adam Gase last? Again, if we continue to get these putrid offensive performances, again, it's one game. It's one game. But it's hard when it's the lid lifter. All our expectations are, depending on the Jets fan or wherever they are, again, it's hard not to think, man, if Adam Gase continues to have these performances, and quite frankly, when you take a peek at the schedule, it's hard not to think you won't have these performances because we look at the next handful of games here for the New York Jets. I'm just going to pull up the schedule. They have the 49ers, one of the elite defenses in the NFL. The Colts, they're fine. The Broncos are pretty solid. And then you're going across the board with teams like the Chargers, and guess what? You have the Bills again, and you have to be ready for those opportunities. Again, this is a tough schedule for the New York Jets this year, and if they don't pick it up quick, it's not going to be given to them. It's not like last year when they had the final 8 games, they were able to go 6-2 against a perceived somewhat softer schedule. I don't know if there's going to be those same opportunities this year for the New York Jets. And again, we said it in the pregame. I'll say it again. If this team wants to do anything this year, if they want to go anywhere, if they want to take advantage of the fact there are 7 playoff teams available, okay, in the AFC, it all rides on Sam Darnold. And what I mean by that is I'm not saying, what I'm saying is they live or die by Sam Darnold. That's what I'm saying. If I'm just cutting the baloney thin, if Sam Darnold's good, the Jets can be good. If he's bad, the Jets have zero chance. They don't have enough talent around that to overcome a deficiency at the quarterback position. Actually, it's the opposite. Sam Darnold has to make plays despite not having some of those weapons that are completely necessary. So, again, week 1, Jets lose 27-17. That's the final score in this one. It's a sour note for the season. It's a sour note for any optimism that we had heading into this year, and we can only hope that the Jets really look themselves in the face and Adam Gase is willing to change. But again, he said all the right things in the offseason about the offense sucks, you got to throw that tape out. Well, guess what? The offense sucked in this game, and they must throw this tape out. And then they got to get ready for an elite defense, arguably some said the best defense in the entire NFL, against the San Francisco 49ers, who have elite pass rushers. The Bills don't have anybody elite. They have a lot of really good guys with Jerry Hughes and Ed Oliver and a couple of guys up front. They're solid. They each will get somewhere in the 5 to 8 sack range. Nick Bosa could get double-digit sacks. Javon Kinlaw, their first-round pick, he's up for this 2020 New York Jets post-game show again. Make sure you subscribe to this brand-new channel, my Boy Green channel. We will be doing weekly pre- and post-game New York shows all year long. For every 1 and 4 o'clock game, we will have a pregame at noon. The postgame obviously happens as soon as the game's over, and we'll jump live right here on the show. And on the other side of the coin, for any Thursday night game, that's week 4 against the Broncos, and a Monday night game or Saturday night game or what have you, the pre- and postgame show will alter respectively to whatever the times of those games are. All right, everybody, that's going to wrap it up. Hopefully the Jets can turn this thing around because it didn't look good after week 1.